Be inspired to strengthen our communities. Be inspired to address our issues. Be inspired to find productive solutions. And be inspired to secure our future. Welcome to Monday Morning Muse TV with your host, Angelin Anderson. We want you to be inspired to inspire.
Right. Good morning and welcome to Monday Morning Muse. I'm Angelin Anderson and I am here today with Keith Martin Sr. representing Manhood Development Camp, the Chicago chapter.
Chicago chapter.
Yes, we have.
For now.
Okay, we all are expanding. So what I want to do today is for us to kind of talk about some of the things that you're doing with Manhood Development Camp. I want to actually start off with some statistics, and we discussed these a little bit before we started filming today. In your response, you seemed a little bit surprised by it.
Yeah.
Okay. So according to the Center for Disease Control, their 2013 statistics, homicide was the fifth leading cause of death for black males ages 5 through 9, and that was about 6.2% of the deaths. For black males ages 10 to 14, it was the second leading cause of death, with about 9.9% of the deaths of black males in that age group falling into homicide. For ages 15 through 19 for black males, it was the first leading cause. It was the leading cause of death, according to the 2013 statistics for the Center for Disease Control. And it was about 47.8% of deaths of young black males in that age group was the result of homicide. And that trend also continued for black males ages 20 to 24. It went to 49.9% of deaths in 2013 from the Center for Disease Control, being the leading cause of death for men in that age group. So those were some startling statistics. How did that make you feel when the first time I brought it to you, and now that I'm repeating it to you the second time?
Well, you can see it. You can see it being that what's going on today in the city of Chicago. It's mainly the kids between 15 and 24 that are dying. The kids that are out here in the streets, just out here like they're literally at war for no reason.
Okay.
So it's like you can kind of understand, that age group. What I try to do is try to show them something different.
Okay.
I found out that, guys between the age of 18 and 23, 24, a lot of them, the ones that went to college and college wasn't the thing for them, they lost out here. They want to have a rap career, or they want to play.
Now, there's nothing wrong with having a rap career if you have the talent and you have the resources, but you also need to have a plan.
B, C, D, F, G. And a lot of these guys I'm gonna be a rapper. Like, dude, that's not possible. So what I've been doing lately is I jumped out of the nest. I quit my job at R. Donnelly, and I have a painting company called Brushstrokes by God. And what I've been doing is I've been hiring mainly Leo grads. A lot of them went to college for a couple of years and decided that college wasn't for them. So I've been teaching them a trade.
Okay, so let's talk. You mentioned Leo. So let's go back to Leo High School and talk about that a little bit. So with Manhood Development Camp and tying that all into what we're doing today and what you're doing, the work that you're doing. So you all are an organization that provides opportunities for black males ages 8 to 22. Although you will accept anyone from any ethnicity.
No.
any race or ethnicity?
No,
No?
it's black men.
Black men, okay.
No.
So
Black men are the ones that I see that are in trouble.
okay. So black males ages 8 to 22
Right.
can participate in the Manhood Development Camp.
Correct.
And you all offer opportunities to get together on Saturday mornings.
Every Saturday, the sessions are normally during the school year. So we'll have a session that's starting August, the end of August, and we'll have another session that starts up in the spring, like the end of February, the beginning of March.
Okay.
And what we do is every Saturday we meet from 9 o'clock to 12 noon, and we'll have someone come in, say for instance, an etiquette coach or motivational speaker from judges. We had a physical therapist for the Milwaukee Bucks. We had the program director for WCIU, and he also brought an Emmy that he won there as well. So we try to show them different aspects of life that you can, different things that you can do. Say for instance, I have Prentice that he graduated from Leo in 2012. I hope I'm saying that right. And he was saying that he wants to be a rapper. So I was like, dude, it's millions of black brothers out here that saying that they want to be rappers. I was like, you gotta have a plan B. I was like, have you ever thought about going to school to be an engineer, a programmer? The guy behind the scenes that make all the money. He was like,
who's going to get paid consistently, whether there's record sales or not.
Exactly. So I was like, he was like, I never thought of that. I was like, yeah, dude, that's something you can think of. You can be the beat maker, you can be the sound guy, and you can also work on your rap career as you're doing those things. And you will have, say for instance, you have free studio time because you work for the studio. It's like you gotta think beyond what you see and what they show you on TV. You gotta think beyond that. So, I think that they hit a switch with him. We had this conversation yesterday. So now he, for me after talking to him yesterday, I talked to him later on that day, and he was like, he brought it up again, like the engineering thing. He was like, the school I went to, he went to a school down south, and a historical black college, and they didn't have that. They didn't offer that program. I was like, well, you can go to Illinois State University, where we both went. Right. And
shout out to the Redbirds out there.
Yeah, Redbirds. But so I was like, they offer a program now. I was like, well, it's you can graduate with a degree and you can make money and at the same time follow your dreams. Right. So, I think that hit a switch with him and hopefully, at the end of the summer he was like, I'm trying to enroll somewhere. Right. If you don't want to leave here, you got the Columbia right downtown. Exactly. Where you can go and be the next Kanye West or the next Pharrell or whoever it is that, is making all the money behind the scenes. So, just got to give them options because they don't have a lot of options and they see these things on TV and the fast way to do it, what they think is the fast way to do it is go into the music industry and become a rapper or going into the NBA or the NFL and becoming this famous sports person. But if you don't have the talent, then that plan A is shot before you even take your first steps and try to succeed.
So let's go back a little bit, and there's a reason for this. When we were talking about the demographic that you all serve,
Right.
and you were very adamant that it's only African American males.
Right.
Have you all caught flack or resistance from that? Have you run into any resistance about that?
Not as of yet.
Okay.
But I can feel from me making that statement that I might. But the reason for it only being for African American males is because it's the African American males that are dying. It's a generation that's being destroyed. So I'm sorry, I'm not a racist. I'm not, segregating people or saying that white gentlemen or Hispanic gentlemen don't need mentoring. But I'm not reading about Hispanic and white gentlemen in the newspaper being shot or murdered or funeral every 2 days.
Right.
So I gotta go where the problem is. And the problem is my people. So I gotta take care of home before I take care of elsewhere outside. So, and I have a 9, finna be 10-year-old son, and I can't put him out here to the wolves and not do something to try to curb this craziness. You know what I'm saying? He'll be in high school in 3 years. And what am I tell him? Like, dude, go. Because he's sheltered. I'm not gonna lie. He's sheltered and he's not accustomed to this man. And, he's like, Daddy, I'm gonna go to Leo. I'm going to Leo High School. Leo on 79th and say,
A different element than what he's
it's a
accustomed to.
different element than what he's accustomed to. But 79th and 2nd it's a great neighborhood. People just don't give it a chance because of the history. Leo boys don't have a problem. Them going to school. They don't have security guards at Leo. They don't have metal detectors at Leo. A high school. In Chicago. So there's no high schools that I know of in Chicago that don't have that. Leo High School is one because it's not a problem on 79th Street. It wasn't a problem when I went there. It's not a problem now that I coached there. So hopefully the city of Chicago, by the time my son gets to be a teenage age and, going to high school, and it'll be a safer place. So he can take the bus. Kids can't even take the bus anymore.
So is that, what was one of, you've shared that one of the inspirations or catalysts in getting the Manhood Development Camp started was the news and what's going on in the communities. Give us a little history on how the idea formed, how you and Matt, the person that's out in DC, in the DC area now, who is going to be building up the program out there, how did you all come and have a meeting of the minds and decide this is what we're going to do, this is who we're going to serve, and this is what we want our outcomes to be? How did it come to be?
Okay, well, I'm the founder of another organization called DADDY, Developing a Dedicated and Driven Youth. We started that organization from just a Father's Day cookout. Where we just some guys that I went to Leo with and some guys that I went to Illinois State University with, and we started with just going out with some chips and some burgers and having just a barbecue.
Okay.
And then from there it was like, man, we gotta do something. So we started the DADDY organization, developing dedicated and driven youth. And from that, I had Mac come to one of our mentor sessions, and Mac was speaking to the boys, and he was like, dude, I like that. And Mac speak all over the city of Chicago, all over the country, to be honest with to at-risk kids. He worked at the Juvenile Detention Center as, I forgot what his title was, but he was there for quite some time. And then he went to be the dean at Irving Prep.
Okay.
And so he's around young black men, and he was seeing how the ratio of black men to white boys that were coming into the juvenile detention center. You know, it might be, say, 500 black African American males in this juvenile detention center. 300 Hispanics, 20 white guys.
Right.
So it was like, man,
There's there's a huge disparity between the numbers of what's coming in.
So he was like, Keith, I want to start something, you know, like a manhood camp. Have men come in and teach boys how to be men. Like, dude, you know, cool. So, Will Gray, he was working at Leo at the time as the dean of students. And so Will was like, we can do it at Leo. Because Mac was trying to find a location where we can have these meetings. He was like, we can do it at Leo. And I was like, yeah, of course, we can do it at Leo, you know.
Makes sense. The connection that was there.
Right, you know, I was like, I'm the wrestling coach there. Me and Will were wrestling coach at the time. So it was like, we were wrestling coaches here, you know. Saturday mornings, it wouldn't be in a way of affecting the school or anything like that. So I spoke with the principal. No, not the principal, the president and Coach Holmes. And it was like, cool, yeah, it's not a problem. So we started it last year. I forgot, but it was like March of 2014.
Okay.
No, was it? Yeah. March 2014, and it just rolled on from that since. And so, actually, I'm doing a juggling act between Daddy and the Manhood Development Camp. But they're kind of merging in together because we do things together. So it's kind of merged into one entity. So,
Do you think it'll be, the entity will then just be Manhood Development Camp? Or
I don't know what it would be, you know, in terms of the name. Their Manhood Development Camp and Daddy are both incorporated, and all the paperwork is done for both. So I don't know how that would work, but they're like the same entity, but
just taking different
we have
approaches.
different guys over here, different guys over here. The common bond is me. I'm the director of Daddy and founder, and I'm the director of Manhood Development Camp and founder as well.
So what is it that you find the most challenging or heartbreaking in the work that you do with Manhood Development Camp?
Participation.
Okay.
Participation. Parents do not want to get up on a Saturday morning and bring their kid for some mental stimulation.
Now, is there a charge for people to come to Manhood Development Camp?
We try not to charge. We try to go with donations.
Okay.
We were asking for people that were able to pay for the 10 weeks, which we feed them, we give them lunch. No, we have like juice and like some donuts or something for breakfast. Then we'll give them lunch. We'll have like Subway, we'll go to Subway, and they'll have a sandwich, chips, and a drink for the session. Then we try to do something at the end of the session, like one, we rented the video game bus, and the kids we barbecued for them, and they were able to go out and play in this video game bus. It's amazing. And so, you know, the kids were able to go out and play on the video game bus all day, and you know, barbecue and play on the field. Leo has a field, and Sunday night shoot as well, so they would play football wherever they want to do on the field. So we asked $80 for that, but a lot of people can't pay that, so they don't pay anything. So we go solely off donations. So if you say, oh, I can't do it, that's fine, you don't have to. Just make sure we come, you know. But a lot of people don't want to participate in saving these kids. It's just like,
So that's the most frustrating.
that's the most frustrating thing, because I'm like, this is basically free.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think that there's such a struggle to have the parents engaged and having their children involved? And then it sounds like the other layer is just having people engaged in the community to get involved.
And community support as well.
Okay.
I had a GoFundMe account for the Manhood camp. I started it about a month and a half ago, about 2 months ago, where we're asking, you know, it costs about $10,000 to run the Manhood Development Camp for 2 sessions. Without any donations without any taking any money from parents. It's about $10,000 for 2 sessions, and I've raised so far, after 2 months, maybe $190.
Wow.
You know, I'm like, wow. You know, I have maybe 1,000 friends on Facebook. You know, and if those 1,000 friends, if everyone just gave $10,
Right.
so $10. You know, I've seen people go to the Beyonce concert and spend $300 on one ticket. $300 on one ticket for an hour worth of entertainment. $10 can direct a young mind to being his greatest, instead of directing that young mind into being put in a casket at 16, 17 years old. $10. So that's real frustrating. I'm like, I stop asking. Every now and then I'll come back and ask, but I stop, because it's like, wow. Oh wow, you know, it's like, okay. I understand everybody has their own life, but we gotta do better.
Right.
We gotta start somewhere. You know, everybody care about what's going on in their house. Can it be like that? Because what's going on in the house next door to you could be raising a young maniac that's going to wake up one day and decide he don't like your son's life, because your son has everything imaginable, you know.
In their eyes.
In their eyes. You know, they get hugged every day. He see your son getting hugs, and he see your son going here and going there, and you know, him and your son might be best friends. He comes into your house and see that, oh wow, he has all of this.
Right. Which may not even be a lie, but it's
It may
more
not be a lot. It's more than what he has.
Exactly.
And one day, you might get pissed off, and it might not even be with your son, and he take your child's life. So we got to stop worrying about what's going on in our house. We got to start worrying about what's going on in the community. You know, we got to, because if we don't, we just let them out there to fail.
For to fend for themselves. One of the things that a saying that really speaks to me, especially in situations like this, is you can't be what you can't see. And I said this in another segment that we've done on the show. If we don't set these young men up to see something different, see something positive in those instances where they may only get glimpses of positivity, surround them with options to encourage them to go outside of a 1 mile radius of their home to have
Exactly.
experiences, how do we then get upset with them? Because they're not doing something that we deem as productive when we haven't shown them.
Exactly.
Here are some of the other things that are available to you that you can do. You just got to kind of move out of your comfort zone.
Right.
Or even if you're not sure, just making sure that they can see as many different perspectives and different points of views and different experiences so that they can start developing and growing and actually understanding the value of their own life and what they have to contribute. Because if you don't feel like you have a purpose and you don't feel like you are connected to anything outside of what you're used to, you're going to keep doing
exactly
what you're used to
right.
doing.
You're going to keep doing what you see and hear on TV and what you hear in this negative rap music. We got a high rate of kids doing these crazy drugs that I would never have thought of in my life of doing. Lean, where they drinking cough syrup. This is an opiate. You're gonna be a full-blown drug addict depending on this opiate. Your body is physically dependent on this opiate for you to get up out of the bed in the morning. And they getting it from listening to these rappers talk about this stuff. I'm a hip hop head to the fullest. But I didn't grow up listening to negative rap. You know what I mean? I grew up listening to people that's teaching you something, telling you something like, no, this ain't the way. They might try to put us in this situation, but we can rise above this.
And it's not necessarily, we have to be very careful in what we're taking to be true.
Exactly.
Because it's all about perspective.
Exactly.
So on the other side of that, when we're talking about perspective, we've talked about what you feel is the most challenging thing, and that's getting involvement, whether it's from the parents, the community, the parents. What has been the most joy-bringing? See, you weren't waiting for that. You weren't ready for that one, huh?
Right. The kids that do show up, the kids that do come, there's quite a few. I enjoy seeing the joy in their eyes of jumping up and coming to the Manhood Development Camp, or hearing the stories of the first day that their mom said, okay, you're going to this program. And they're like, I don't want to go to this. I don't want to go to this. And then it gradually moves to they waking their mom up like,
come on, we gotta go. We gotta go.
We late. Or them calling me, during the week, the mom's, like, he did such and such. And I get on the phone with him like, dude, you can't do that. And then I talked to the mom on Saturday night, so how did we do? She was like, once she had a conversation with you, it was over. It's a lot of these boys out here that, have positive men in their life. They don't know what it feels like to be loved. So when you like, I'm proud of you. Like those things like that, I'm proud of you. Good job. That perk them up like, wow, I never heard that before.
Where they don't hear it often enough.
Don't hear it often enough from men. Black boys' interaction with men normally is negative. From their fathers leaving and they never see their father again in their life, or they see their father every 2-3 years, or they see their father every other weekend, if that. So we gotta put some positivity in there. We gotta elevate their mind. I like to say to them, I want to give you the answers to the test. I want to give you the answers to the test, So you won't get caught out here. You kind of cheating, you know, because I done gave you the answers to the test. So when you go and take the test, you pass it with flying colors. And the test is life.
But what are you doing, and you're giving them the answers to the test.
Right.
You're preparing them, you're giving them the skill set to survive. But with black males, there's an extra layer, or 3, or 10, that we kind of have to provide them with to be successful.
You just got to teach them how to move, how to play the game. They got to know how to play the game, you know. And it's a game out here that you have to know how to play. You got to know how to talk the talk. You know how to walk the walk. Sometimes you have to straddle the line a little bit, and you got to step out of your comfort zone and do things that you might not like. You know, you might have to talk a certain way that you're not comfortable with how in speaking. You know, you might have to be able to flip the switch on and flip it off. You know, you can't speak in the corporate world like you speak out here on the block.
Right.
You can't do that, you know. You can't dress or you can't carry yourself in a particular way, you know, out here with these crazy police. You can't do it, you know. I know you might like it, you might like the dreads and all that, but nah, B, you setting yourself up for some nonsense that you might not even be ready for. You know, I notice the way you dress, the way I dress, you know, people approach me differently. You know, I have a mean exterior. You know, people say that I frown and I look very mean and intimidating. But I'm the silliest person you ever met in your life.
Ever. In life.
You know.
Ever.
The silliest person, but you wouldn't know that by just looking at me. But the way I dress, I kind of balance it out a little bit. So I am approachable. So I am, people would strike up a conversation with me. You know? So it's like you gotta know your levels. You gotta know a balance. You gotta have a balance. It's a tightrope that you have to walk. You know? And you know, and be successful. That's how I've thrived, and that's how I'm successful in life. You know, I'm doing quite well. So you know.
What is your vision for Manhood Development Camp? Say you do short term, 6 months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now. What is your vision for the work that you're doing in the community with Manhood Development Camp?
I want 100 mentees and 100 mentors in one room. So I want 200 black brothers, old and young, together, work on a plan for the Manhood Development Camp. How we can send these messages back to their different neighborhoods, spread the message that, look, B, you about to change this up.
Right.
You changing this. Oh, nah, dude, you're not doing that.
You can't do that. You have to think differently to get different results. And you got to act differently to get different results.
You can't do that, bro. No. If you want to hang with me, you want to hang with this crew, we ain't on that.
I'm going to share this story that you shared with us briefly online. And it was, for me, one of the proudest moments of me knowing you and the work that you're doing with Manhood Development Camp and how you are positively influencing young men. You talked about a situation where you were out and about and you ran into a young man and you all kind of had an interaction that was kind of less than ideal.
Okay.
Less than ideal.
Cash.
And how that interaction led that young man to Manhood Development Camp. Can you like give us a story, the brief story and background on that experience?
Okay. Okay. Cassius, he's one of my wrestlers, and he's a student at Leo High School. So his mother is, you know, she's a phenomenal woman. She is the president of the Parents Club, and you know, she give her son the world, but he's spoiled.
Okay.
And he's disrespectful. He don't know a child's place. So Cassius decided he quit the wrestling team because he wants to work out with the track team to make himself faster.
Okay.
So I went to a Leo basketball game and I saw him. So I was like, come in and talk to me. You know, he said that I'm always on him. I'm always so serious. So he don't feel me too well because I keep my foot on his neck. You know, not literally, but you know.
Enough to get him to do what it is he
exactly.
needs to be doing.
So I'm talking to him and he said something to me that was disrespectful. I said, Cassius, we're not equals. And I'm a grown man. Don't you ever speak to me like that again. I was like, Cassius, I could do something to really hurt you. I'm a grown man. You are a little boy. I ain't no little boy. And he huffed up more. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, so he like, basically, what you want to do? I'm like, Cassius, I'm your wrestling coach, B. So I'm teaching you how to wrestle. So that means you can't beat me because it's things that I haven't taught you yet. It's things that I've forgotten about wrestling that in the situation will come back real quick. Not to say that I'm going to put my hands on you because I know my abilities and I know that when one fell swoop, it's over for you. So it started to get attention because he was starting to yell.
He started to posture.
He was posturing his bravado and he was starting to get all, so it started to get a little attention. So people came in and started breaking it up or whatever. I was like, you grabbed me? I was like, yeah. So Coach Holmes, the football coach at Leo, grabbed Cassius and would have set him down on the bleachers and had a conversation with him. It was like, do you really want this to happen? He was like, because that's all he got to do is say the word and you out of here. You out of Leo for good. He's like, so is this what you really want? He's like, you need to really think about your actions and what you about to do right now. So I went over there and sat next to him. I said, what is wrong with you? And he was like, you know, you're just so serious all the time and how you talk to me. I was like, that's what I'm supposed to do, Cassius.
As an adult, this is my responsibility.
You're not on my level at all. At all. No shape, nothing. You're not on my level. So we talking back and forth. I'm like, I'm disappointed in you, man. I can't even talk to you like that. So I walked away. So the next morning this happened Friday night. The next morning we had Manhood Development Camp. And the Leo guys, if they're in the school, they'll come in. My wrestlers come in, they'll see me, and then they'll come in and sit down and join the conversation or join what's going on. So I was telling the whole group about what happened last night. Lo and behold, guess who? So I turn around, guess who's walking in the door? Cassius. I'm like, wow. Wow. And I was like, Mac, you know who this is? He's like, no. I was like, this is the gentleman I was just speaking about. Mac was like, what? You know, it was just ironic that he walked in. And he walked in and he apologized. Like, I'm sorry for being disrespectful. Nobody told him to do it. It was just, he felt in his heart that he was wrong, you know. So it was like, that right there showed me that that's all you gotta do is have a conversation with kids. When they do something wrong, don't belittle them, berate them, make them feel like they less than anything. Just tell them, you wrong, B.
Right.
You wrong. They gonna see it for themselves, and when they see it for themselves, they gonna be like, you know what Cassius did. Walked in, coach, I'm sorry.
But I think it's, for me, that spoke to a bigger piece of the work that you're doing, because there are instances that occur like that daily between adults and children.
Yeah. And
those instances and incidents end very differently.
Yes,
because of the way that they interact with one another.
Exactly.
And the way that sometimes the children may expect, or the youth may expect,
an adult
to respond, or give them a pass, or talk to them as if they're their equal, and not necessarily set an example for them to follow.
Right.
So that when you shared that story, it was like, wow, okay, that's really, to me, in essence, the physical embodiment of what it is that you're trying to help and develop and teach in these young men as a part of the Manhood Development Camp.
Right. And another thing is, and I was telling him, I was like, Cassius, the way you swelled up at me, I was like, I love you, so I'm not going to put you in a situation where I'm putting my hands on you. I was like, because I love you as like you're like one of my little brothers, because you go to Leo High School.
Right.
You know, I was like, a man on the street
is not gonna have that same love.
Ain't gonna have that same love or respect for you. He gonna knock your head off, or he gonna blow your head off because you a threat. I don't like this world see you as a time bomb.
And if you have two black males who are viewed as time bombs,
exactly,
and they don't have that experience or that knowledge or an incident in where they've been taught differently as to how to respond, we end up with the statistics that we talked about, with with it being homicide being the leading cause in 2013 among black males between ages 15 and 24.
Exactly.
That is essentially high school and college.
Yeah. That is high school and college.
That's high school. It's high school and college. So imagine a group of young men that are aged high school and college, and they're just gone. Completely gone.
That's what's happening.
Completely gone. And that is why it is so important to have programs like Manhood Development.
That is what's happening. High school and college. Peace.
And so if you have that gap, who is then connecting the younger men, those that are the
8-year-olds,
up to the 14-year-olds, and then you have a gap to 25. There is a gap. Who is taking those young men?
Can't relate whatsoever.
So
no relation whatsoever, because it's like you like 2 or 3 generations removed. That's 2 generations removed right there. 15, what's that?
15 to 19. So there was 47.8%.
Right. So no, let's say 14 to 24. You know, that's 10 years. That's a generation that's removed from the gap. So, if I'm listening to KRS-One, let's put it in simple terms. If I'm listening to KRS-One, that 10 to 14-year-olds listening to what?
I don't know, it makes my head hurt.
No, not even Waka Flocka. That's too old. That's too old. They listening to, what's the dude, Panda? What is his name? Designer. That is a huge gap. You got somebody to a guy that's actually giving you knowledge, breaking down our ancestry and you know, from Egypt to, you know, original man, you know what I mean? So that's, that in itself,
Right.
it's like, wow.
Right. So, you know, what would be, as we wrap up, what would be the one thing you want to share, the one brief thing that you want to share with the people that are watching and who will be listening on the podcast? What is the one thing you want to share about Manhood Development Camp, the work that you do, or even the young men that you're affecting?
The one thing that I want to share is I want us to be more involved. If you can't give money, give your time. That's all you gotta do is just come give me an hour of your time. It's on a Saturday. It's not like you are doing anything else, or it's ruining your day. If you can't give time, give $10.
Okay. So you all have a Facebook page, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so we will definitely provide that information on the website.
Okay.
We'll also provide a link to your GoFundMe page if that is still up and
It's still
active. And then just really encouraging people to get their young men involved,
Get them
in
involved.
Manhood Development Camp. Give them the information again of when the camp meets and the location and
It's
the
at-
cost and
right.
all of that.
It's at Leo High School. It's going to start the end of August when school starts. So I'm looking at the last Saturday in August. It's going to be a 10-week session. It's $80 for the entire 10 weeks. That includes the lunch that they receive each Saturday. And it also includes the end of the session party that we normally have, you know, if it's a barbecue or just something. I want to do something with them to just give them a little fun to go in with the lessons that we teach, because during the sessions, we let them go and play basketball. They have total use of the school.
Okay.
They can go and play basketball. They can go out on the football field if they want to. They can go downstairs in the weight room. Whatever they want to do.
So they have a safe space in which
Safe place.
to interact with other people.
Interact with kids that they never met before, kids that they know. They can bring their friends. You know, come get a lesson, have some fun, get fed. Peace out. I'll see you next week.
Right. So, thank you so much for coming and
You're more than
joining
welcome.
us. For you all that tuned in, thank you for waking up on a Sunday morning and tuning in early. Especially thank you to one of our sponsors, Sip and Savor Coffee House on 43rd Street in Hyde Park, and some of our other sponsors, which are also on our website: K Models Talent, Natural Intellect Hair Care, Looks Good and Natural Body Care, and Cakes. If you love cupcakes, you gotta contact Cakes. They're delicious. She does this. Yeah, I do. I'll eat yours. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Until our next segment, please be inspired to inspire. Take care and see you soon.
Peace.